Hey everyone, and welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're unpacking something that pretty much all of us go through, yet we rarely ever talk about it out loud. We're going to take a deep, completely forensic dive into the psychology of text anxiety. And our main focus for today? The brain's worst advice. I mean, think about it. We rely on our brains for incredibly important things, right? Survival, breathing, complex problem solving. But for some reason, the second it comes to digital communication, our brains suddenly morph into these dramatic, incredibly paranoid detectives that confidently hand us literally the worst advice possible. So, let's get right into it.
Okay, let's dive into this. Hey, are you free today? It's just 7 words. It is a completely normal, totally casual text message. You type it out, maybe you hesitate for just a split second, and boom, you hit send. The act of actually sending the text? Incredibly easy. But as we're about to see, surviving the next 30 minutes? Yeah, that's the hard part.
So, why in the world does this simple phrase trigger a complete psychological meltdown? Well, the moment that message leaves your phone, your brain just shifts gears. It completely transforms from a highly rational organ into this unnecessarily analytical villain. It takes a completely mundane situation, like literally just asking a friend if they want to hang out, and cranks it up into a high-stakes life-or-death scenario. And exactly how does it pull this off? By feeding you a relentless, nonstop stream of terrible advice and absolutely ridiculous theories. Which brings us to phase 1, the message autopsy.
Now, this autopsy happens almost immediately after you hit send. You have this look of relief for maybe 1 second, and then, bam, the realization hits. You're staring at the message you just sent, and your brain starts treating it like hard evidence at a crime scene. Out of nowhere, your brain decides that every single word you chose was completely wrong. Hey, wait, was that too casual? Does that sound demanding? Free today? Why today? Now they're going to think you have absolutely no plans that are totally desperate. Before you know it, your brain is serving up all these absurd alternative drafts. It starts off reasonable enough, right? Maybe just a simple hey, or, throwing in a friendly smiley face. But give it a few seconds and the brain's worst advice kicks into high gear, suggesting you should have sent this massive, highly apologetic paragraph like, hey, if you're not busy, would you maybe possibly want to hang out? Or taking it to a completely hilarious extreme. Greetings, are you currently available during today's designated leisure period? Suddenly, your brain has you absolutely convinced that your perfectly normal text was actually a massive social disaster.
And that leads right into phase 2, the typing disaster.
Chronologically speaking, we are now entering the most agonizing part of the digital communication cycle, the waiting game. You set your phone down, you're trying to play it cool, but your brain is just screaming at you to pick it back up. Let's actually map out this excruciating timeline. At 0 seconds, the message is sent. Cool. At 2 seconds, the holy grail appears on your screen, the typing indicator, those 3 little dots. You totally freeze. Your brain is like, oh my gosh, they are typing. But then at 5 seconds, the indicator disappears. Just nothing. At 10 seconds, total unadulterated panic sets in. Your brain starts spinning up these catastrophic theories. Why did they stop typing? Wait, did they change their mind? Did they write out a massive paragraph and then delete the whole thing? Oh no, were they screenshotting it to ask a friend what to say? The brain's worst advice is telling you right now that the disappearing typing bubble is absolute, definitive proof that they hate you. But then, finally, the phone buzzes. The message arrives. You eagerly look at it, fully expecting a whole novel based on how long it took, and all it says is, yeah, sure. You just stare at the screen. Now, any normal person would think, awesome, we've got plans. But your brain? Oh no. Your brain instantly shifts its panic from the waiting game straight into overanalyzing the deep hidden meaning behind the word sure. Welcome to Phase 3, Emoji Forensics. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly how absurd our thought process becomes. This is a highly ridiculous, completely made-up science where every punctuation mark, every single capitalization, and every lack of an emoji suddenly carries life or death stakes. Your brain outright refuses to take the text at face value. Instead, it acts as this malicious translator. Look at how the exact same base word gets totally skewed. If they replace sure with an exclamation mark, your brain says, okay, positive vibe, we are safe. If it's yeah, sure with 0 punctuation, your brain whispers, wow, they are indifferent. They really don't actually want to see us. But if they send sure with a period at the end, oh man, your brain declares we are doomed. That period is so aggressive, they are furious. And then, of course, we have the ultimate boss battle, K. If you get hit with a K, everything goes dark. Just cue the funeral music in your head right now. Your brain tells you it is completely over and you must have done something incredibly unforgivable. Now, let's look at phase 4, the double text battle. So what happens if they don't reply right away? You pull up the chat, you see clearly that they are online, but no reply. That's when the internal struggle kicks off, and this is where we clearly see the brain's worst advice in action. Now, rational thought tells you to just wait patiently for a response, right? Maybe they're talking to someone else, which is completely 100% normal. But your brain, it becomes totally unreasonable. It starts giving you this terrible, completely contradictory advice. It says, okay, whatever you do, don't double text. Well, unless you want to. I mean, maybe they forgot. And when you actually ask your brain what you should possibly send to follow up, it suggests something utterly nonsensical, like, I don't know, just say, haha. Haha, what? It becomes this literal battle against your own mind, refreshing the app, watching them go online, then offline, feeling like you're a creepy spy in a really terrible movie. And while you're agonizing over that last seen 2 minutes ago status, your brain is forcefully dragging you into these completely imaginary conversations. You start planning out scenarios that haven't even happened yet. If they reply positively, well, you're mentally mapping out your entire future together. If they reject the offer, your brain insists you need to formulate the absolute perfect, wittiest comeback right the second. If they ask why you want to meet up, your brain quickly invents like 14 different possible answers, ranging from totally casual to weirdly, deeply philosophical. And the absolute most absurd piece of advice from your brain? If they never reply, clearly the only logical solution is to delete their number, pack your bags, and move to another country. I mean, you are literally exhausting yourself before the conversation has even actually started. Which brings us to our final stage, Phase 5, the mundane reality. And honestly, this right here is what we really need to take away from this explainer. We waste massive amounts of mental energy on completely fabricated problems. Let's look at how this huge psychological investigation usually ends up resolving. Your phone lights up. The reply is finally here. Sorry, I was taking a shower. Want to grab food? Silence. You literally just spent 45 minutes constructing an intricate conspiracy theory, assuming this person hated you, overanalyzing punctuation marks and missing typing bubbles, and they were just washing their hair. The reality is just painfully anticlimactic. It completely, utterly invalidates all of the brain's worst advice. Now, you feel instant happiness, of course, because, hey, they want to grab food. But the sheer exhaustion and damage from all that overthinking, yeah, that's already done. Let's move out a bit and see how this builds into a much larger pattern of modern communication. You send a text. You wait and you overthink. You panic. You finally receive a reply and experience this massive wave of relief. And then, what happens? Well, you have to reply to their text. You have to send another message, which instantly throws you right back to step one. It's this completely exhausting, endless cycle of texting where your brain is just constantly searching the horizon for threats that do not even exist. So, you decide you've had enough. You make a vow. You look at your phone and you firmly decide, I am never doing this again. I'm officially going to stop overthinking. You confidently type out your confirmation to grab food, you hit send, and you walk away like a champ. But 3 seconds later, you just casually check the message, and your stomach drops. You realize you made a typo. You accidentally wrote, thanks you. You freeze. And your brain, right on cue, steps right back in and whispers, we're finished. And just like that, the entire panic cycle completely restarts over 2 misplaced letters. So, I'm going to leave you with this final provocative thought to ponder the next time you open up your messages. Are you letting your brain write your text messages? Or perhaps, even more importantly, are you letting your brain's worst advice completely dictate how you feel about your relationships? The anatomy of a text message really shows us just how incredibly absurd our modern digital communication can be. So the next time you see those 3 little typing dots suddenly disappear, do me a favor, take a deep breath, ignore that overly dramatic detective living inside your head, and just remember, they're probably just in the shower. Thank you so much for joining me in this explainer, and I'll catch you on the next one.